and television. And with over 50 million IGN subscribers, you're in good company.
Oh, we're shooting turkeys!
Thanks to your help, we've raised over $100,000 for charity. Brought you and creators the world over together for events like Gamescom and DC Fandom.
Brenton Thwaites here, I play Dick Grayson.
And made your voices heard. You voted almost 30 million times in our best video game of all time and Super Movie Madness tournaments, and posted over 40 million times on IGN's message boards. The chat must flow. Catch our unending stream of up-to-date news and so much more over at IGN.com or subscribe to IGN on YouTube. And check out IGN Games and IGN Movies and TV for deep dives into your preferred pop culture. Plus, IGN guides to get help on veritably any game from our team of experts. No matter where you are, IGN.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, IGN has you covered.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Do you have fun? Fear of missing Gamescom? Relax. Gamescom is everywhere you want. Gamescom now.
Check. Mic check. That's good. Check. Yeah, that's good.
Most of the characters have a kind of core gameplay experience associated with them, yes.
I see. So, 4 named main characters. I'm assuming this isn't a permadeath situation.
To be decided.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
To be decided. We're looking into difficulty options for more hardcore stuff.
That's very interesting. What can you tell us about the miasma, sort of like the whole conflict of the game? What more can you tell us about what's happening here?
Well, the world of miasma is set approximately 240 years in the future. It's a post-apocalyptic game, but we wanted to have an old twist on it. We've got this force called the miasma. At some point in the future, there will be this thing called the Great Stability, and that is a time of peace and the end of hunger and end of war and everything. And everything's just great and working perfectly. But at some point, this thing called the collapse happens, and that's due in part to the miasma, this mysterious force which takes over the world and also, more importantly, America, where this
I hope
game
they
is
show
set.
up like next week. So I'm definitely covering
Elvis
that.
has a glove that he wears. What can you tell us about that?
The glove is a present from his mother, which leaves him in the little mining town as a baby. And the glove is the key for him to find his mother, and then his adventures expand into different things. So the glove is kind of a key element in the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, it controls the miasma.
Got it.
And his mother's left a challenge for him to break through this thing called the miasma wall, and the glove, he needs to learn how to master it before he can be reunited with her.
Seems very cool. It's definitely my kind of game. Are we expecting Miasma Chronicles next year?
Yeah, it will be released in 2023.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Miasma Chronicles will be out next year. Keep watching IGN Live at Gamescom for more.
Yeah. All right.
I'm in a wrestling ring! What's up, everyone? Mitchell Saltzman, Rebecca Valentine. We're right here at the AEW Fight Forever booth here at Gamescom 2022 to really talk about AEW Fight Forever, a game that we both kind of played yesterday. So, Reb, I know that you've recently gotten into AEW, but you've never really been a wrestling game fan. What was it like playing this game for the first time?
It was definitely a little bit challenging. I've never played a wrestling game before, and it takes some time to sort of get into the controls and understand exactly how to execute the thing that you are wanting to do. And it's a little hard to get that in a demo when you want a little more time with it. But I picked it up, and it was fun. It was fun to sort of be able to embody some of the things that I get to see in the ring on a regular basis.
I am a huge wrestling fan ever since I was a child, huge wrestling game fan, and AEW Fight Forever, I think we should be clear about what it is and what it isn't trying to be. This is a game that really goes back to the N64 era, and it's really trying to be a no mercy on more modern consoles. So it's not trying to be a new WWE 2K game. It's not trying to be simulation wrestling. It's trying to be fun, arcadey action. And I think both for better and for worse, it's succeeding at that. It's a little bit rough. There are definitely moments where the hit detection is off. You'll do it like a combo. The first hit will land, the second and third hits won't, and you'll be in a position where now you're gonna take a reversal. So there's definitely some issues to work out, but I think if you're looking for that N64 era kind of golden age of wrestling experience, this might have it for you.
Yeah, there was a moment in I think one of the first matches in your demo where you were like on the ropes, like you were almost done, you were down, and you somehow turned that around into a win. It was so cool.
We don't have footage of this, and I'm so sad about it. But I was getting worked the whole match, and then I'm Kenny Omega. Adam Cole has me down for the boom. I dodge the knee, get my super immediately from that, hit him with the one-winged angel, and no one kicks out of the one-winged angel. So that moment there was exactly what I wanted from a wrestling game, and it was a ton of fun. That moment was a ton of fun for sure.
Yeah, I was yelling. That felt like wrestling to me, and if Fight Forever can have moments like that that have me feel like I am watching or there or present in that moment, then that's probably what I want out of a game like that, even if, you know, every single movement isn't exactly where I need it to be. As long as I'm feeling it, that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. So that is AEW Fight Forever. For more Gamescom 2022, keep it here at IGN.
Yo, I'm into decking for real. I'm getting this game. Definitely getting this game. I had just recently copped the 20 remake, whatever. I don't like it. I love Skate though. I wish they would revamp Skate. That was a good game.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and we are at the Mini merchandise area powered by Mini. And my producer just gave me 50 euro to spend on anything that I want here, but I've been told that I need to buy something at the very end, which I'm not sure what it is, and it makes me a little bit worried. But 50 euros, I think I could find some good plushies. Yeah, let's go figure out what I can buy. Okay, so I'm not much of a figurine collector, but you have to take a look at what they have here. Like, all right, let's get through the waves of people first. But look, for our JoJo fans, look at these posed figurines right here. Oh my God, that is amazing. And then of course, for anyone who likes Pokemon, we have all this stuff. Oh my God, they have Jujutsu as well. Holy crap, that is amazing. Look at these. Okay, so this is definitely out of my budget. Thanks, Ronnie. But we'll just keep looking. Okay, the one I want to go to is a little bit busy, but Sushi Cats! Oh my God. Oh, they're $30, so that would leave me with $20 left. So 20 euros, whatever, is it 20 euros? 20 of these things. Okay, so I found some keychains that are 5 euros. So these are pretty cute. Actually, I kind of want to get one for Mark Medina. He's one of our gameplay guys. He absolutely loves Mario, so I might get one of those for him. I think about it though. Do you think he would like Yoshi or actual Mario? This one?
Mario.
All right. Apparently this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one. All right, so as an anime lover, I have to check out what kind of kimonos they have. I see that they have Demon Slayer, so I'm gonna look at what all they have because I think I actually might buy this. It's 30 euros. So these are one size only, but look at this. I have to support my girl Shinobu. She is the best girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this. It is 30 euros, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. Hello. I would like to buy this one.
30 euros?
30? Okay, here you go. Thank you. Thank you. All right, now I have 20 left. And I think there was something that I was supposed to buy. So I got this lucky mystery bag, and I only had 15 euros, which is why I had to get this one, as opposed to a $20 one. So yeah, I definitely spent a little too much money. All right, I sat down for the first time in a while, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to get back up, but let's rip this bad boy open. Ooh, what's this? Oh my God, no way! I got a Dragon Ball Z ball! Wait, look, that's actually really great! Am I holding up? Okay, how many stars? 4 stars. Yes! Oh my God, that's actually
so
great.
you can collect the Dragon
I do feel
Balls.
lucky. Okay, also, and now
I gotta start going to those events, man.
2 pins.
But that's
The
way in
Hatsune
Germany.
Miku
I ain't
pins.
trying to go.
You know what? This
I'm
wasn't
gonna go
too
to
bad.
like once they
All
bring
right,
back.
so I got a Shinobu kimono and I got a
E3.
Mario keychain
I'm
for a
gonna
friend
go to Cali,
and
so
a
go to
mystery
Cali.
gift bag that actually ended up being pretty cool. I got the 4-star Dragon Ball and I'm definitely going to put that on display. So yeah, that about does it for this bargain hunt. Make sure to stay tuned to IGN for all of your Gamescom news because we're going to be here all week covering everything that you want to know, from games to entertainment to weird merch stuff.
Gamescom 2022 is presented by Saints Row. Be your own boss and take control of Santo Alesso.
I'm waiting on GTA 6.
Tune into IGN
man.
1
They're
for the
coming
latest
down
news
here
on your favorite releases,
to Miami.
gameplay
They doing
exclusives,
Miami
and
again.
all the entertainment you
Shout out
can
to the
handle.
whole
And
Miami-Dade
maybe even
County,
some
Fort
you
Lauderdale.
can't.
Palm
Cinefix
Beach
on
Street.
IGN 1, your friendly Friday night home for film
I wonder if it's gonna be like Trot County.
You're watching The
If
Weekly
you could
Fix,
drive to
ready to
different
fill you
counties,
in on
like
anything
they
you may
did,
have missed in the world of gaming and
Grand Theft Auto
entertainment.
5, like you could go to like Blaine County and all that. I wonder if they're gonna let you go to like Broward County or Palm Beach
Find
County.
it all in one
That'd be
place
dope.
on IGN
That'd be
1.
dope if you could cross counties in Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm here for it.
IGN Playlist is all of your games in one place. You can build your library and discover new games. Create and follow playlists from friends. Access guides for what you're playing. And rate and rank the games you love to share with the world. Available free with your IGN account. It's for players, no matter where you play.
You're a busy gamer with plenty to play. Not a lot of downtime, but you still want to keep up with the latest gaming news? Fret not. No matter where you like to play, PC, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, I've got the headlines you need to know about. When Half-Life 3 is announced, it'll be on the Daily Fix. When the Switch Pro is announced, you'll be the first to know. And when that big game you just can't wait for is delayed, yeah, I'll have that news too. The Daily Fix, with me, Nars, weekdays only on IGN.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Shop platform is the preferred online destination to find and purchase digital experiences and for users to engage with each other. Millions of gamers count on Shop every month for a seamless purchase experience when buying game credits or vouchers. No registration or login is required, and purchases are added to the user's game account instantly. Let's take a look.
IGN Live at Gamescom. Video games have borrowed liberally from Neil Blomkamp's movies, and now he is working on a video game of his own. Here to tell us about Off the Grid Chief Visionary Officer at Gunzilla Games, Neil Blomkamp. That is a killer title.
Yeah, dude. I know, great. It's quite an excessive title, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Nice. Now we have an exclusive look at the game that it looks pretty sick. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and what's going on?
Well, what it is it's a multiplayer shooter. It's a third-person shooter, and you know, it's a dystopian cyberpunk setting. So it's something that feels creatively very personal to me. And we're going to try to do something interesting, which is build enough of a world and enough of a sort of a background and sort of lore to everything that we're going to attempt to try to inject some narrative from that into a battle royale, which is going to be difficult, but hopefully we succeed and we inject a bit of narrative into something that is as un-narrative centric as a battle royale.
Now, obviously, in many of your movies, things have kind of gone awry for society, to say the least. Is that's obviously what's happening here? Tell us a little bit about sort of the world building here. Like, how did we get here with these characters?
That space elevator is the world's first space elevator in the lore of the game, which is built on an island in the Pacific. Mm-hmm. So it draws huge amounts of resources to it as they start bringing down minerals from asteroids. And so you end up with mega corporations, like a kind of a Blade Runner sort of Tyrell Wayland kind of mega corporation influence over a tropical island. And this age-old idea in cyberpunk of mega corporations being more powerful than governments.
Right.
This game would take place at the moment that power balance is shifting, which is pretty interesting. So it's with the wealth of something like a space elevator, with mega corporations fighting over the wealth that it provides, and kind of global governments getting involved to try to be part of that party. You have the moment that would tip it into more of a Tyrell Wayland sort of future, where the governments have basically lost in their ability to control Earth, and it's moved into a dystopian corporate environment.
That's when the fun stuff starts happening, obviously.
Yeah, it's fun all the way.
Now, you're collaborating with Richard K. Morgan on this, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that process and sort of how it is to work on this with him?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, I was, it was probably about a year and a half ago that he emailed me, and he was like, I'd never met him before, and he said, I'm working on this game with Gunzilla, and one of the references that he named was Elysium, and he was like, there's a lot of stuff that I think you would find interesting in the game. Do you want to come and speak to us about maybe being involved? So the idea of the island, the idea of a battle royale, all of these things were sort of set in place, but he brought me over where I went to Kiev, because Gunzilla is a Ukrainian company, so I went to Kiev and I went to Frankfurt, which is where the two offices are, and I met everyone. I met Vlad, who's the CEO, I met Scott, who's head of design, and I kind of and then began working on it with Richard in terms of like throwing ideas back and forth narratively, and we just sort of fleshed out this pretty dense science fiction playground, and now we just have to make the audience hopefully like what we've built.
Now, we're seeing a lot of like just incredibly cool weaponry and just arms, mechanics and stuff like that. In terms of pitching those, do you get to come into the dev team and just be like, hey, I want like this grappling hook that shoots off of this guy's half an arm? How does that happen? Or like,
yeah,
I want a sword.
Yes, it's some of it is a combination of me learning how games are made and kind of understanding how it's much more of a flat hierarchy with the way that all of the different departments work. But I definitely will throw ideas in terms of cyber limbs, weapons. But a lot of that stuff was there. The grapple hook arm was one of the things. I mean, that's also in Apex and stuff. But there are other weirder ones that are newer. But definitely, I'll throw ideas in the mix. Vlad will throw ideas into the mix, and then there's a whole bunch of sort of ideas that are generated through artwork too, right? Like you see a piece of art, you don't necessarily know what its function is, but you're like, okay, that could become this.
That's awesome.
So it does feel very creative. I mean, it's kind of what I've always wanted to do in a sense, like outside of film, where coming from visual effects, I've always been obsessed with three-dimensional environments that are computer generated that audiences can experience and sort of drop into.
Right.
And with sound design, it's like that's what games are. So the framework that Gunzilla has built with a large amount of artists that can pull off something pretty awesome, it feels very creative and very cool to me to be able to come in there and be part of the team that helps realize an entire island that is basically a place that you can experience.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, one last question. You are also working on a video game movie, but it's not one people are expecting. You're doing Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Can you say anything about that?
Gran Turismo movie?
I love cars. Which is the summary of that. I really love cars, and I got sent the script, and the script is awesome, and it's a very natural way to use Gran Turismo. It seems like it wouldn't make sense how to make a film out of that, but when you see the movie, it will make sense. and I get to
Oh,
hang around
come
cars,
on.
which is cool. So
When is this
I
movie
know.
coming?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're up to.
Yeah.
Well, Neil, thank you so much for joining us. I'm dying to
Oh,
learn more
man,
about
come
Off the
on.
Grid.
They-
Looks
they gotta
sick.
talk about
Sick.
this, man, more.
Off the Grid releases in 2023, which gives you plenty of time to marathon the movies that he made. They're cool movies. And maybe
do.
learn some self-defense tactics, you know, to hold your own on a dystopian tropical island, whichever is easiest. Keep watching IGN Live Gamescom for more.
Gran Turismo movie. They better get it right, man. 'Cause they kind of get cheesy with Need for Speed, man. Oh, I'm definitely covering that Saturday. Cosplay. Definitely, I want to see it. Ooh.
You're watching IGN Live at Gamescom. Coming up, we've got a look at some new games coming soon from Humble. Fun fact, IGN and Humble are owned by the same parent company. You might think that means we get sneak peeks of what they're working on, but we don't. So I'm just as curious as you are to see what they're doing. Let's take a look.
Xbox is winning right now. Game Pass, PlayStation, I got to do something.
How can I fight it? How can I? My head is spinning round. Oh, I hear them now. Yes, the wolves are out.
Xbox is winning.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mitchell Saltzman, and if you can't tell from the undersized straw hat and the giant Luffy in the background, I just got to play some One Piece Odyssey, and I'm going to take this off because it is very, it does not fit me at all. But yeah, One Piece Odyssey, this was, so just real quick, this was the same demo that people got to play at Anime Expo, so it is a little bit old, but it was my first time getting to play it, and I'm such a huge One Piece fan, I couldn't leave Gamescom without getting my hands on it. My main takeaway from playing One Piece Odyssey is that I think JRPG is kind of the perfect genre for One Piece because of the fact that One Piece is an anime that is so based around camaraderie and, you know, the feeling of friendship between all the crew members, and that's something that really comes across in One Piece Odyssey. One of the really cool things about the battle system is that everyone can kind of fight at the same time. You're able to have four active players in the battlefield. They can get split up, but they all kind of fight together, and then everyone else kind of goes into this reserve. And the way it works is that there is a wheel of kind of like priority or weakness, basically, there where power beats speed, speed beats technique, and technique beats power. So if you're in an area and you have Luffy and Sanji, both power characters, but you're facing off against an enemy that has a technique type, you can then switch off one of the characters with someone like Usopp, who is able to deal more damage to those technique kind of characters. So it's actually a really smart system. It's also the kind of thing that doesn't really demo super well here at Gamescom because regardless of whether you're fighting with a type advantage or not. Enemies kind of die in one hit, but as a proof of concept, I think it worked really, really well. The other really cool thing is that there are dramatic battles, basically, or dramatic moments where what happens in a cutscene that leads into a battle affects that battle. So, for example, there was a fight where Usopp, in his, like, you know, his false sense of braveness, walks up to these penguins who are not hostile, but as Chopper indicates, they're not hostile, but they are hungry. So, you know, they beat up on Usopp and they go into a battle, and when you're in the battle, Usopp is paralyzed and surrounded. So you kind of have to deal with that. You know, it's a really cool thing of, like, you know, you just saw something and now you're fighting that exact scenario. And then there was another situation where you're trying to rescue Nami, and you get to her, and she's like, you know, when the battle starts, she's kind of rough and, you know, off on her own, so you have to heal her up really quick. And then once you do that, you get kind of like a party advantage. So it's a really smart way of, you know, giving a little extra goal to every battle. And those are kind of my thoughts on One Piece Odyssey. I think this was a super strong showing. The banter between the characters is really, really strong. It didn't get annoying. You know, that's one of the things that I think is a fine line to walk, where you want to have that character banter to really, you know, feel how close these characters are, but you don't want it to get too overbearing and just, you know, just constant, you know, chatter. So I had a great time. That's all for me. For more Gamescom 2022, keep it right here on IGN.
Gamescom 2022 is presented by Samsung SSD, essential for gaming.
Hey, you! Yes, you! Do you have FOMC? Fear of missing Gamescom? Relax. Gamescom is everywhere you want. Gamescom now. Register now.
In a world with non-stop news about Marvel, Netflix, and Star Wars, you need a show with accurate reporting, hard-hitting commentary, and me. I'm Akeem Lawanson, the host of The Fix Entertainment. Whether it's the latest superhero scoop, film fiasco, or anime announcement, I'll be right here covering all the latest in major studio headlines and pop culture news. Make sure to catch The Fix Entertainment wherever you watch IGN.
Tune into IGN 1 for the latest news on your favorite releases, gameplay exclusives, and all the entertainment you can handle. And maybe even some you can't.
Cinefix on IGN 1, your friendly Friday night home for film fanaticism.
You're watching The Weekly Fix, ready to fill you in on anything you may have missed in the world of gaming and entertainment.
Find it all in one place on IGN 1.
They turned into a network. Who knew?
The First Descendant is Nexon's new co-op action RPG shooter made in Unreal Engine 5 that transports players to a sci-fi world where they will unravel the secret behind the Descendant's power across various missions and raids in single-player and multiplayer. Let's take a look at what's in store for players during the First Descendant Steam Beta coming this October.
We always ask questions. What is it that actually exists? Where does the origin come from? Where are we headed to in the end? If you feel confused, just reload your gun.
That one look alright. Looks cool.
You're watching IGN Live at Gamescom 2022. Hey, you! You! Yeah, we're talking to you.
You!
Don't just watch Gamescom, be a part of it.
Yeah!
Dive into the Gamescom-verse for yourself with Epics.
Do it.
Gamescom Epics is a community treasure hunt happening on Gamescom's official site throughout the show. Complete quests and help Epi in his fight against the evil bugs to win attractive prizes. Collect experience points, level up, and win rewards. Gamescom Epics, check it out with the QR code below.
Now, if you like games and you need some help keeping track of them, or you want to make a list of your favorite games, your least favorite games, the weirdest games, the funniest games, the shortest games, or really just any list of games, check out IGN Playlist. It's a brand new tool from IGN that lets you build and view curated lists of the games you love. Head on over to playlist.ign.com and get started. Damon, do you know what the shortest game is?
What's the shortest game?
It's Catch.
We beat it!
Yeah!
Speedrun. If you want some upcoming games to add to your list, in just a bit, we're checking out Goat Simulator 3 and seeing how much mostly illegal
Goat Simulator
stuff
3,
horrible
that
animals
look
get into.
good.
After
It looks
that, we're going
fun.
hand to hand with all the new content coming to Seafood.
I never played the
Then we're getting
first
hands-on
ones.
with One Piece Odyssey.
That is right, and a
first
bit
few.
later, we're going to find some awesome indies, the biggest, best, and weirdest indie games at Gamescom. But first, let's check in on the chaos of the Gamescom show floor. Take a look.
Okay, so we're about to start rehearsals and day number 3, but so I was on the official stream and looking at how many people saw it and stuff, like
Oh, that's the concert. I missed it, man.
so many people were like, yeah, of course Stella's having fun. Hey, what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? There's so many tweeted photos, and like here's the official live stream showed the moment too when he approached me. Oh my god, I still can't get over last night. Like I'm surprised I still have my voice because I was screaming so much. It is nearing the end of day 2 of Gamescom, and of course, like I teased, there is going to be a Metal Hellsinger concert here, and I have a VIP ticket. So let's see, what time is it? 5:01. Okay, so the doors opened for VIP 1 minute ago. So let's go in and see what VIP gets us. That's the VIP lounge. Wait, you actually get to play the demo too?
Oh,
Okay,
that's
pretty
lit.
great. I'm definitely gonna have to play this. Honestly, I'm so glad they had this station here because I haven't had time to play this at home yet. So I got to play it. I really like it. I actually have it downloaded on my gaming laptop that is in the hotel. So as soon as I get back from the concert, I'm definitely going to be playing more of this. So we've been here for a little bit, got some snacks and refreshments, and it is 26 minutes before the show starts. There's a little countdown there, and we're super excited. Can't wait for it to start. Obviously, I'm going to stay here so that I don't lose this place, but yeah, it's filling up.
Shorty said it's going up.
Their soul came to hell just like a tune comes into your head.
looked like it was fire. I should have covered that yesterday.
That was awesome. That was so cool. Seeing all of them perform together was incredible. Oh my God, such great energy. Also, the first singer that came up to me, I didn't know what to do, but that was so much fun. I'm so glad we went to this. Who knew Gamescom would have such a cool concert?
You're watching IGN Live at Gamescom. Usually, cleaning up a mess is the sort of thing that good, law-abiding citizens do, but sometimes criminals do it too, like when they're trying to hide all their crimes. Our next game is all about that. Here to tell us about Serial Cleaner's lead designer, Krzysztof Szydlowski from Draw Distance Studios.
Hey.
Welcome.
So, this game looks completely different than the first game, which I love the look of. And I want to know how you landed on that, and if it was like a huge pain in the butt. Like, did someone come in and go, let's overhaul the entire art style and start fresh?
Yeah, we wanted to make something new, something more complex, and to find new territory. And so we went to 90s. We skipped from 70s to 90s. We skipped 80s, and tried to find a new look. We moved to 3D, and we had like two main inspirations. First was 90s cinema, obviously, with its color palette, with analog feel, with celluloid imperfections.
Right.
And the second was the postmodern art. And pop art, post-graffiti art, and neo-expressionist art. And Jean-Michel Basquiat was one of the main inspirations for this game.
We've got some exclusive gameplay here showing off. I mean, this is cinematic here, but you get a feel for the style here. Can you talk a little bit about what's new mechanically? Because this is visually speaks for itself.
So everything is deepened. It's much more complex than in the first game. We took the basic formula of the first game and added layers and more complexity to everything. So you can you still clean blood, you still are removing corpses from a scene, you are picking up evidence, but you have many options to do that. We took inspiration from Immersive Sim, from Hitman series, and what's important, you have 4 characters this time. In the first game you only had 1. Right now you have 4 characters, and each character has its own playstyle. And what's important as well is this is a stealth action game, so you are deciding if you want to play stealthy way or if you want to play it like an action game.
So I need to ask you where you drew the line with the sensor thing, because obviously there's blood all over the ground. We just saw a man chainsaw someone in half, which you didn't show us. Took the body parts, threw them into a wood chipper, which exploded blood everywhere, which you did show us. So tell me how you figured out the push and pull of how much
body
more
parts and
I'm
throw it
allowed
into
to see
a
as the
wood
player.
chipper.
This is dark humor in our game.
Oh,
we wanted to make a few things like parental advisory stickers and things like that.
Yep.
So that's why we added sensors. Here.
So good.
Now, it's set in 1999, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Why that time period, and I guess how does it affect the story?
This is the end of the decade, and our characters are meeting at the funeral house, which serves as a front of their bloody business. And they are talking about the whole decade. They are reminiscing about their bloodiest missions. Yeah, so we are moving to a new millennium, and that's why we took this date.
So like they're cleaning, and they're also worried about like the Y2K bug.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah.
Now, the 4 characters differ mechanically. Can you speak a little bit about sort of the different abilities?
So right now you can see Bob, who is the character from the first game, and he has this basic style. Each character has its own special ability. So Bob can slide on blood. This is Psycho. Psycho carries chainsaw, so he chops bodies. He can pick up limbs and throw them at police, knock them down, and lock them in some place to remove them from map. You got Lati, which is she is spraying graffiti on the ground to distract police, and also she's the most mobile character, and her maps are the most vertical maps in our game. And we got Viper as well. She's a hacker, and she can hack electronics remotely.
That is an extremely 90s hacker name, by the way.
I love the graffiti being a thing to distract cops. Like there's an active crime scene, and they're like, "Wait a minute, somebody's been doing spray paint over here."
It's very specific graffiti, so yeah.
Where do the ideas come from? Like we just saw a character being like, he had a vacuum cleaner on the blood on the snow, which we all know would make the vacuum cleaner explode.
Yeah, that's drawing the line, as you said before. with the snow, we don't want to clean the snow from the whole map.
Yeah, of course, and you don't want to just cover it up with other snow.
It's a special vacuum. It only cleans blood.
That's crazy.
This is great. I love the indoor environments too. Now, tell me about like some of the conflict here.
Just give me like a Sims
this
type
player's
vibe.
been caught,
Mafia
or like
type
obviously
stuff.
he's not just sort of leisurely hanging out wood chipping
It's like
body
blood in
parts
the
anymore.
snow.
Now that there's other people that can see you, they're hunting you, they're stalking you.
Yeah.
How does that gameplay flip over from just like cleaning?
Yeah, sure. What is important, each mission is tied to a specific character. And we have a few missions in a game that you can play 2 characters at the same time. There's 4 of them, and this is one of them, and it's from the beginning of the game. And this is a mission that we get to know the Psycho character, who was a mafia enforcer. And he went rogue on a mission, killed everyone as one character from a Fargo movie. And Bob is here to help him out. So first we have to learn how to chop bodies as a Psycho. And then we are getting at the map and cleaning all of that Psycho prepared for us.
Very cool. Now, obviously switching between characters, the different mechanics, that makes a ton of sense from like a story perspective. Was there ever like a world where you considered doing a co-op version?
Yeah, but we really wanted to tell a story and to make a game that resembles 90s cinema. And all those movies that people are sitting in one place and talking about stories and like Usual Suspects, for example.
Right.
Yeah, that was something really important for us. That's something that we tried to mimic in our game.
So in terms of the variety of levels going on from here, I'm guessing you have a bunch more after know, the vacuuming the blood snow.
Yeah, in the game are actually 20 playable missions.
Awesome.
And then you have like 6 flashbacks, more narrative-focused missions.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much. You can get your grubby fingerprints on serial cleaners on September 22nd. Keep watching IGN Live at Gamescom for more.
Goat Simulator. I ain't gonna lie, it looks fun. You get to ram humans. I seen them even driving cars on the trailer. What? that go flying.
Happiness is a choice, you know?
Hello, I'm Joe Screbbles coming to you from Gamescom 2022. I'm joined by Simon Cardy, who has just seen Aliens Dark Descent. And this is an Aliens game, so what's the setting?
It is set 20 years after Alien 3, but it's, you know, it is an Aliens-themed game, really. It's got that marine combat feel, and it's all about, you know, the setting is these Marines have crash-landed on a planet, and they're looking through this abandoned base. Something's happened. Probably xenomorph related, you'd guess. But it's not just set on a base. You know, so much Aliens content is like content even. It's kind of set on like, you know, an industrial place. Whereas this has like snow, has jungle. I haven't seen those, but I've been told they're there. But you know, wherever you're going to be, there's going to be lots of xenomorphs. So don't you worry.
And this is a strategy game first and foremost.
It's real-time, top-down, real-time combat. So you're commanding a team of 4 Marines at all time. You can command them as a unit. They do things automatically, but you also can, you know, micromanage them on the fly. And also to help that at any time, you can just turn the whole thing into slow-mo. And it's quite funny seeing a xenomorph just slowly run towards you before getting shot in the face. But yeah, there's kind of a mixture of going through corridors, like the classic Aliens thing. You've got your radar, they've got the classic blooping noise, and that's kind of, it puts you on edge a bit. It's not the same as like, you know, being in Alien Isolation and being on edge at all times. But you've also got kind of tower defense places where you have to like weld door shuts, kind of like Rainbow Six Siege, like, and like set up a little room. And then, yeah, you've got to set up turrets and like defend a space. And then complete your objective, and then you'll either get new info for the story, or maybe you'll be able to like recruit a civilian, like an engineer, to help build your home base. Because as we'll talk in a moment, it's kind of got like XCOM elements too.
That was the thing I was going to ask. So it's not a game about it's not a story about getting from one place to the end. You're not taking these Marines all just through one location sequentially. You're going back to the base every time, right?
You are going back to base, but you are also kind of trying to get them through sequentially. So it's almost got like roguelike elements, so you're almost making your way through the ship and you can go back and revisit at any time. So it's a persistent world, so those doors will still be welded shut and stuff like that. So you are kind of, I think, making your way through. There is a story there. Also, these Marines, they have this cool thing as well as having a health bar. They have like a stress level, which if it gets too high, they kind of may not obey you directly, or their aim may be off. Like, there's like interesting little quirks like that I quite enjoy about it.
It sounds really interesting. It sounds very different for Aliens. Does it feel like it's going to be... Does it feel like this fits in that canon of Alien stories?
I feel like it will. I don't know too much context for the story. They've got like the look and the sound of it. It looks pretty spot on for like an Aliens game. It's like different, like I feel like when we get an Alien or Aliens game, we do get that more like marine feel to it. We don't get the Alien vibe that Isolation did so well. Maybe people don't, they did it so well that, people are almost afraid to go in there. But yeah, I feel like it's got a good Alien vibe to it. And without playing it, I'm not, that sort of like top-down real-time isn't really my sort of genre, but I am a sucker for Aliens. So I think I will give it a go.
Will you give it a go? Let us know. And for everything else from Gamescom, keep it locked to IGN.
Gamescom 2022 is presented by Saints Row. Be your own boss and take control of Santo Alesso.
The only thing better than listening to IGN podcasts is watching them. Luckily, all your favorite weekly shows are here on IGN One. Whether you're chasing the latest Xbox releases with Unlocked, looking for your PlayStation fix with Beyond, tracking everything coming to Switch with Nintendo Voice Chat, or catching up on this week's gaming news with GameScoop, we've got you covered. Check it out. Tune in every weekday at 5 p.m. for the best gaming coverage right here on IGN One.
If you're not following IGN on social media, what are you waiting for? We're constantly updating our feeds to bring you the latest news, gameplay, custom original content, memes, the best user-generated videos and art, and a whole lot more. Be part of the conversation throughout the year. Follow IGN on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Everybody loves watching a speedrun of their favorite game, but what if you got a chance to peek into the mind of the developers behind those games as they watch their hard work get completely destroyed right in front of them?
What is happening right now?
That's exactly what happens on every episode of Devs React to Speedruns. We invite you to ride along with the developers as they watch, react, and enjoy some of the craziest gameplay by the most skilled speedrunners on the planet. Tune in every Saturday for a brand new episode.
What's up, everybody? Alan here to break down all of the biggest announcements, trailers, and news. Presented by Nitsa. Let's get to the news. Gamescom 2022 opening night live may have come and gone, but the show continues to chug along thanks to Gamescom Studio and Awesome Indie Showcase, featuring even more trailers, gameplay, and all the interviews your eyes and ears can handle.
Fans of underwater adventures will be happy to hear about SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake. We got a look at a brand new reveal trailer for this action-adventure platformer featuring iconic characters from Bikini Bottom. Traverse iconic set pieces from the show with SpongeBob's trusted sidekick, Balloon Patrick. Players can look forward to jumping into SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake when it launches on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. But maybe players prefer games to be full of off-roading goodness. Well, Dakar Desert Rally got a new trailer that showed off some awesome vehicles and tracks to experiment with. With various weather effects and track modifiers, users might want to get their PC, Xbox, and PlayStation suspension ready. This is going to be a bumpy ride. Session Skate Sim also got a new reveal trailer, and it looks like a must-play for anyone who's a fan of, well, skateboarding sims. From simple ollies to complex trick chains, Session Skate Sim lets players push their creativity to the limit. The game is available right now in early access and officially releases this September on Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, PS4, PS5, and PC. Finally, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes also got a new trailer. The title is a spiritual successor to the beloved Suikoden franchise, and after an astoundingly successful Kickstarter, we finally got an updated look at this gorgeous JRPG coming to all platforms. Personally, this game reminds me of rainy days as a kid, curled up under a blanket, grinding enemy mobs to level up my party. Only this time, the game has a fresh coat of paint and gorgeous graphics.
There's so much news to celebrate, so please remember to keep an eye out for yourself and your friends if you're planning on going out and drinking. NHTSA reminds you to never drink and drive. Always identify a sober driver or call a rideshare service to get you home safely. Drive sober or get pulled over.
You're watching IGN Live at Gamescom. Sometimes video games have incredibly vague titles that leave you guessing what they're about, and other times, well, you can kind of guess. Here to tell us about Vikings on Trampolines, a game about Vikings on trampolines. Please welcome game designer Joe Madsen and art director Simon S. Anderson from D-Pad Games. Gentlemen, thank you for coming by.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
So why are the Vikings on the trampolines?
Okay, that's a really interesting story. So this guy made this game when he was 14. So technically this game is about 20 years old, I would say. So you wanted to make it for your sister, was that right?
Yes, my little sister and I, we used to play a ton of games together. I'm very competitive. So we played GoldenEye 64, Mario Kart, Smash. We tried them all, but every time we played, she would play about 5 minutes and then give up. Controllers were too hard, buttons, she didn't want to learn anything. So I decided to make a game where you only use the joystick, and that's how you play the entire game.
And of course, he had a bit of a problem with that because he wanted little units to be walking around.
Right.
Couldn't figure out how to animate that, so he just put trampolines everywhere.
Yes.
So that's how we ended up with that, and he showed it to me about 10 years ago. And, you know, he said, oh, this is a strategy game. No, this is not a strategy game. So we changed it to where it was a lot more fun to sort of just knock each other off the trampolines. And
we're looking at some exclusive gameplay here. Can you sort of tell us what's the gameplay loop right now? Like, what's going on?
Okay, so this is the versus mode. Essentially, you are Vikings. You try to stay on the trampolines and get everyone else off the trampolines. You try to get on top of everyone else and just kind of knock them out. At the same time, you have power-ups. And of course, since everything is just controlled with the one stick, you don't really have to learn anything. All the moves that you use are either up, down, or you have a little flutter thing when you press up.
Yeah, so you have a couple of moves.
Right.
You can do a little flutter in the air, like Joshi, and then if you press down, you do a downward attack.
And because it's so accessible, we managed to have people as young as 6 years old be able to beat us with this. We could just hand them a controller and they figure it out.
That's when you know you've made a good game, when a 6-year-old can kick your ass.
Yeah.
Now, how did this get to a point where you're like, this is working, this is fun, it's clicking, people are coming in and playing it? Like you mentioned, you know, this is obviously something that this feels like a party game, right? Like you want to get groups of people together. When you were playtesting, when were you like, we're there, we found it?
So day one.
Really?
Yeah. So what we've been doing lately, because you know this was supposed to be a multiplayer brawler game, we hit the pandemic and we decided people aren't really gathering anymore on their couches, so let's add an entire adventure mode.
Yeah, part of the idea, because we've been touring this with our previous game, Owlboy, for years now.
Yeah.
And we know that this thing works, but how do we present this in a different way so that you can play it by yourself? So we made the adventure mode. You can play it single player or you can play it 4-player, and that is co-op. And then we added a little extra mechanic. Instead of bumping each other off, the Vikings are now also trampolines. So you can bounce off each other and help each other sort of defeat these minigames. And also, what you see on the screen right now, giant bosses, because we have to have those.
That's amazing. So what I think is fascinating here is the game itself is a byproduct of limitations. And then the fact that you're publishing is, again, a byproduct of the pandemic made you do it. Was there ever anything you tried to add that was just overcomplicating it? Did you ever catch yourself kind of throwing in too much that sort of...
Actually, yeah. There was a moment because, you know, you have competitive brawlers in general have pretty intense ways of controlling your character. There's a lot of complexity to how you move around. At one point, we did add that flutter move, which allows you a little bit of fake out when you're moving around. But there was actually a moment where we were sitting there considering, like, should we add button prompts? Should we add it so that you can do special moves every once in a while?
Right.
But we managed to keep it consistent with our design goals. So now the entire game, both the menu and the fights and everything else, can be controlled with just a one stick. So if you hand someone a controller, don't need to explain anything.
No. Now, I love looking at this game. I can't wait to play it. What inspired the art direction? Because it's obviously got some 16-bit action
Vikings on
platformer DNA
trampolines.
here. But there's a lot more going on. Like, things get pretty painterly. These bosses are very big and over the top. There's stuff that
You
you
only
couldn't
use
do
directional
on
pads
old
or
Super Nintendo hardware or
analog
something
stick.
like that.
So Simon is a renowned
A, B,
pixel
X,
artist
Y,
at this
or
point. We are
triangle,
trying
circle.
to push pixel art as far as we possibly can.
And part of so our previous game, Owlboy, the entire idea for that
And the
was
boss battles look dope.
how can we create a
They look
game
dope.
that looks
That's a boss
as
battle?
good as possible and actually works in the framework of a pixel art 2D game. Now, I felt like we did really good with that one, but part of the challenge then is, okay, how do you go even further than that?
Right.
So I thought, okay, giant vistas, the same quality as the old classic fighting games, but also we need every single character to have a full expression of motion and emotion, which is kind of hard to do when they're moving at like 300 miles per hour. So
Do the separate Vikings have different characteristics or traits, or is that just a cosmetic?
they are exactly the same. So we've made it so that roughly, depending on how their design is, their hitbox is exactly the same, and we want it to be that if someone picks up a player, then you won't have any sort of bias to who you're picking. Like, everything works.
I feel like there's going to be sort of a placebo effect, like people who think different M&Ms taste, separate. Like I don't like
They
the red
don't taste different?
It is actually that way in the office, because the second player usually is the yellow one, and of course she has that really aggressive face, but she was the one that we tested our AI on, and we still can't beat that one. So whenever I see yellow, it's like, oh no, she's the difficult one.
Well, very, very cool. This is looking really, really fun, and it's got to be pretty cathartic to put out a game you've been working on for 20 years.
Well, yes. I mean, we've been working on and off. I think we've been doing 2 years of full development on this game by this point. But when I started working on this
20
game,
years in the
it
making
looked
for
like
that game.
utter crap. So a big thanks to Simon.
Nice.
I tried my best.
Yes.
Well, your sister's going to play this now, right?
She beats me every time.
Yes! That's awesome. Mission
Well,
accomplished.
I hope we can play it sooner rather than later. Vikings on Trampolines is out sometime soon. In the meantime, please do not attempt to recreate anything you just saw, because those pointy hats might poke out an eye, and then you wouldn't be able to watch the rest of our Gamescom coverage. So please keep watching IGN Live at Gamescom for more.
Hi, my name's Quartz, and I should probably catch you up. I'm part of a group to eradicate bad guys. Like these assholes. Enough said. Meet the team.
Show me something good.
Bungie. Dr. Asa,
Gungrave
he's our head
War.
genius. That's Mika. She runs this gang. And then there's Grave. Yeah. We're fighting the Seed, led by the witch, Big Wushen. The evil Taranti. The katana-wielding Yensen.
Let me finish him.
And lastly, Gonpo. Wanna come?
Hello, I'm Joe Screbbles. This is Red Valentine. We have both been lucky enough to play Pentiment, the new Xbox exclusive from Obsidian of Fallout New Vegas and all the other games fame. Pentiment feels very different, and we were kind of both talking about the fact that this game seems to strip back so much of what Obsidian's done with RPG storytelling and kind of turn it into more of a straight piece of interactive fiction. Do you think, is this them building on their history in that area, do you think?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think it's honing in. It's zooming in on one specific aspect that they do very well. It's very. There's been a lot of conversation over the years about what it means to have choice in games and how that should actually make a player feel. And I get the sense from Pentiment that choice is going to matter in a very different way than we are used to it mattering, if that makes sense. It's less about finding a specific ending and more about how your choices shift your perspective and the information that you have about the situation, and then how that turns into reactions that you take to that.
I think the interesting thing about that is it's so clearly not a game about stats or success in encounters, and it's really about exploring, meeting people, and crucially I think is the choices you make at the start of the game. You choose what kind of a person you are. Can you talk about the version of Marla, the artist, that you made at the start?
Yeah, so I was able to select sort of the things that he studied in school, and I made him a logician, so he's very good at logic and factual thinking. So he was really good at persuading people and really good at making convincing arguments. And then you could also pick sort of his final years of study. You could pick the law, you could pick theology, you could pick, I think, biology was the third one. And I made him a theologian, so he was really knowledgeable about the church. And then I didn't have stats per se that I could, increase or decrease, but then in my subsequent interactions, I had different paths I was able to take through those conversations based on those things. I was trying to convince this woman who was very upset at the church to give me some information that I needed, and I had options to make theological arguments, which obviously did not work very well on her.
In my version, so I took a different path. The game is about, or at least at the start, is about a murder mystery of sorts, and my guy went to examine a body, and I kind of knew that was coming up, so I purposely chose him to have that biological medical background because I thought, oh, this is going to open up a bunch of different things. I also made my guy a hedonist who just loves having a crazy good time, and so when I went in, we started examining this body. There was this beautiful element of it's not that beautiful actually. It's drawing the injuries on the corpse, but it's done in this amazing notebook pencil sketch style. And as you're talking, the notes, the drawing gets more and more detailed. And so I went in going, oh, I'm going to talk about all the medical stuff. And then the topic of syphilis came up, and my guy was like, I'm a hedonist, I know all about syphilis, which was kind of amazing. But more amazing was that once that dialogue option came up, it then went into my medical background, and I could talk about the disease and its symptoms and that kind of thing. And so it feels like these choices aren't just offering you hey, every so often you'll get a hedonist option, or every so often you'll get a medical option. They can dovetail into each other, and it feels like you could legitimately maybe have 3 or 4 strings of stuff if you've got the right traits. And I think that's the really exciting thing. Like you were saying, this isn't a game that seems to be aiming for better endings or anything like that, but the journey you get feels like it could alter so much based on those stats. Do you think, where do you think this is going with that stuff? How deep do you think that's getting from your playthrough?
So the thing that they promised in sort of the announcement of this game is that it's a murder mystery where you may never find out who the murderer is, but your perspective and your journey will sort of inform who you end up accusing of it, or who you think deserves to be punished for it. And I can already tell, just sort of based off the different kinds of, because it didn't seem like I had a necessarily a pass or fail state in my conversation with the woman who I was trying to get information from. So I think depending on the different information you have, the different encounters you have, the different people you meet, and your background, you can't min-max this. You can't do the entire game and get every single piece of information and then get a right answer. My playthrough seems like it's going to be very different than yours, and just solely based on our perspectives and the story that we choose to tell.
That is a little slice of Pentiment. It's out very soon. It's on Game Pass. It will be very easy to get to. I think that's going to be a big part of its appeal, that people will just get to go and try out something that they might not ever have looked at otherwise. We are surely going to cover more of it on IGN, and we are going to cover way more from Gamescom as well. So keep it locked for the rest of this weekend and beyond if you want to.
Gamescom 2022 is presented by Saints Row. Be your own boss and take control of Santo Alesso.
I'm Akeem Lawanson, and this is What to Watch on IGN1. It's a weekly show where we check out the latest and greatest in trailers, reviews, and everything else in the world of entertainment. Tune in to new episodes every Friday at 9 p.m. on IGN1.
IGN is your go-to for the latest and best in games, movies, and television. And with over 50 million IGN subscribers, you're in good company.
Oh, we're shooting turkeys.
Thanks to your help, we've raised over $100,000 for charity. Brought you and creators the world over together for events like Gamescom and DC Fandom.
Brenton Thwaites here, I played Dick Grayson.
And made your voices heard. You voted almost 30 million times in our best video game of all time and Super Movie Madness tournaments, and posted over 40 million times on IGN's message boards. The chat must flow. Catch our unending stream of up-to-date news and so much more over at IGN.com or subscribe to IGN on YouTube. And check out IGN Games and IGN Movies and TV for deep dives into your preferred pop culture. Plus, IGN guides to get help on veritably any game from our team of experts. No matter where you are, IGN.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, IGN has you covered.
Hey you! Yes, you! Do you have fun? Fear of missing Gamescom? Relax. Gamescom is everywhere you want. Gamescom now. Register now.
What's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and you're about to get your weekly fix. This is the show where we round up all the biggest gaming and entertainment headlines you won't want to miss. Tune into new episodes every Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on IGN1.
You're watching IGN Live at Gamescom. Now, back in February, the hyper-stylish, ass-kicking kung fu action game Sifu hit the scene with the impact of a perfectly timed spin kick, and soon it is getting some brand new content to test your skills even further. Here to tell me all about it is Felix Garzinski from Slowcap Games, and also Theo Caselli?
Yeah.
I remembered it! Welcome to the IGN stage. Let's talk about Sifu. This game's been out for several months now, and you've got new content arriving next week. What do we need to know?
Yeah, so the first big thing, the big feature, is that the player will be able to customize the experience by adding modifiers and cheats. So they will be able to make the game harder, easier, or even maybe a bit fun, with like a 0G mode where everything starts to float around. So yeah, and the second big element coming with this is the new scoring system. The idea is to be more in touch with what we can find in other beat 'em ups, and really able to precisely evaluate the player and what they're doing. And by scoring with high scores, the player will be able to unlock new modifiers and cheats, so customize their experience.
Okay, so I believe we're looking at some exclusive footage here. Is this, we're looking at modifiers right now?
Yeah. So this one is a bullet time. Just the player by pressing a button can slow down the time and just have the time to appreciate the animations, but also react to the enemies. So it's kind of a fun mode. But yeah, these kind of modifiers, I don't know the others that are on.
Yeah.
This.
I'm not sure neither. I think we'll see as.
Oh, okay. So there is a 0G mode. You can see the element just floating around when they're destroyed.
The 0G just affects just objects in the environment?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Destructibles and the bodies of your fallen enemies.
Yeah, you can see the enemy just floating around in the pose.
Is there any penalty to activating these modifiers?
So depending on the modifier that you activate, you will not be able to save your progression. So we have modifiers that just make the character invincible. So it's great to learn the game, but you will not be able to progress through the game by using the modifier.
Interesting. So after the update, how are modifiers integrated? Is there just in the menu system, are they toggle them on or off?
Yeah.
Or?
So when you select the level, you will be able to activate or deactivate modifiers, and you can spend currency earned through the high score and some goals to change the modifier for whatever you want to do in this run.
And we'll actually add extra modifiers with the upcoming updates for the game as well in fall and in winter. And our philosophy here is we've had a lot of requests from players that had finished the game for more content to be able to experience the combat in different situations. And we felt that the story was already complete and that it wouldn't make sense to add an extra level that wouldn't really fit in with the complete game. And so we chose to focus on new features that allowed players to experience the game in a different ways and in a different way. And for example, we added the difficulty options earlier this year, which allowed more players to try the game and players that had already finished the game, to actually play it in an even harder difficulty.
Right.
And right now we have the modifiers, the new scoring system, and we'll keep adding more ways to have fun in the Sifu universe.
Has it been fun for you to come up with all these modifiers?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was, the game is really serious in tone, but in the studio we always have fun. We always try to try new stuff and have fun with the combat. So putting this modifier in the game allows the player to feel like us, just having fun in the gym room and playing around.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It reminds me of, games back in the day used to have like lots of cheat codes or just codes that would be fun things to play around with. Maybe they break the game a little bit, but it's just fun to experiment, right?
Actually, it's very interesting because our creative director, Jordan Lyony, really thought about GoldenEye when we designed this modifier engine. He was like, I loved GoldenEye when I was a child, and just trying to, accomplish some goals to unlock the cool cheats, like a big head, like everything.
Yeah.
And he wanted to give this feeling into the game.
And it sounds like, so after the update, it sounds like all the modifiers won't be unlocked at the beginning, is that right? So you'll have to play the game as normal, earn points to unlock your modifiers.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually the new scoring system allows you to save a high score for each level, and some of the in-game content, be it outfits or gameplay modifiers, will be locked behind a condition. For example, reaching a certain score in a specific level, or actually reaching a minimum score in like many levels.
That's very cool. I believe one of the modifiers is one hit basically.
Yeah.
You have one health.
You have both. Like your character get one shot, but you one shot the other. Like you can do some kind of Even or Hell from Devil May Cry, which work the same way. So yeah, you can do that in Sifu now. Like you get one shot, but the enemies get one shot. You can do just if you want to try a really hard game, or
How many modifiers are we talking? Just in a ballpark figure, is it like a dozen? Like what?
Maybe 20.
Okay,
I believe
20 in this update, and more coming in the upcoming ones.
Well, that's cool that you are. It's nice that you're updating the game and providing more content. I guess it's also nice to you that you're getting that opportunity, right? Like I think the game is. I hope the game has been a big success for you. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, and I like the game very much. So, how has it been in the months since you released?
Yeah, it's been pretty great. We have had really good reception all over. Lots of players, asking for more actually, because they were pretty much in love with the game, and it felt really good for the team. I mean, everybody at the studio was really engaged and really anxious to know how the game would be received, and it was a really nice ride for all of us.
Well, awesome. When is this update coming to Sifu?
It's coming next week on August 31st.
I look forward to it. Yeah, I look forward to it. The modifiers seem like they're going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming by. The IGN
Thanks. Thank you for your time.
Sifu is out now on PlayStation and the Epic Game Store. Keep watching IGN Live at Gamescom for more. That rhymed.